أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله. سكن ركوع. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
كنتم خير أمة.
जी अच्छी बात. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. ولو آمن أهل الكتاب لكان خيرا لهم منهم المؤمنون وأكثرهم الفاسقون. لن يضروكم إلا أذى وإن يقاتلوكم يولوكم الأدبار ثم لا ينصرون. ضربت عليهم الذلة أينما ثقفوا إلا بحبل من الله وحبل من الناس وباءوا بغضب من الله وضربت عليهم المسكنة ذلك بأنهم كانوا يكفرون بآيات الله. ذلك بأنهم كانوا يكفرون بآيات الله ويقتلون الأنبياء بغير حق. ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون. ليسوا سواء من أهل الكتاب أمة قائمة يتلون آيات الله آناء الليل وهم يسجدون. يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويسارعون في الخيرات وأولئك من الصالحين. وما يفعلوا من خير فلن يكفروه والله عليم بالمتقين. للمتقين إن الذين كفروا لن تغني عنهم أموالهم ولا أولادهم من الله شيئا وأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون مثل ما ينفقون في هذه الحياة الدنيا كمثل ريح فيها صر أصابت حرث قوم ظلموا أنفسهم فأهلكت وما ظلمهم الله ولكن أنفسهم يظلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا بطانة من دونكم لا يألونكم خبالا ودوا ما عنتم قد بدت البغضاء من أفواههم وما تخفي صدورهم أكبر قد بينا لكم الآيات إن كنتم تعقلون ها أنتم أولئك تحبونهم ولا يحبونكم وتؤمنون بالكتاب كله وإذا لقوكم قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا عضوا عليكم الأنامل من الغيظ قل موتوا بغيظكم إن الله عليم بذات الصدور إن تمسسكم حسنة تسؤهم وإن تصبكم سيئة يفرحوا بها وإن تصبروا وتتقوا لا يضركم كيدهم شيئا إن الله بما يعملون محيط صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغ رسوله النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
Jazakallah, Faiz. Allah give you reward for this beautiful recitation. So inshallah we are continuing with Surah Ali Imran, and Surah Ali Imran, as we discussed, it is Madani in entirety, and it is Madani and it is exclusively deal with Ahl al-Kitab. Ahl al-Kitab means how to deal with Jews and Christians. So since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-knowing, He has created the whole mankind and He knows different group of people, especially Jews and Christians, the previous scriptures that were sent to them and how they distorted it and how they brought changes into that and how they altered with that, and the nature of Jews and nature of Christians and how we should deal with that. And especially it is important for us who are living in North American society, because we are living in basically a land in which predominant religion are the religion of Ahl al-Kitab, meaning Jews and Christians. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us in all aspects of life, even how to live peacefully with our Ahl Kitab brothers, how to be cautious with them and how to cooperate with them and where not to cooperate with them, where to be careful with them and where to So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first is describing the hallmark or the characteristics of Muslims. Kuntum khayra ummatun. So this, you are the best of the best of the people, best of the nations. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing why ukhrijat. Ukhrijat means something that grows or that pops out of, just like, ikhraj means to come out, a plant that comes out of the earth. We also call it, ukhrijat, like means it pops out. So here the meaning is that Muslims, they raised to the ummah level, and because of two characteristics, so they admonish people to do the good things, and they also condemn and forbid people not to do the bad things. And this is the sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he declared his prophethood, so first thing he did, he started condemning all the bad things that were prevalent. So it was idol worshipping, which was killing of their daughters, that was starting warfare for the no apparent reason, tribalism. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam openly condemned that. And then he also just like our start with the negation, negation, la ilaha illallah, there's no God except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it purges out all the negativity, all the false belief, and then you can harvest the good belief system into your heart and into your system. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam first, purge out all the ailments, and he started condemning the idol worshipping, daughter killing, and all the things like that. So this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is advising the ummah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam who followed the footsteps that, condemn what is bad in the society and, admonish people to do the good things. These are the characteristics. So today, relating that to living in a predominantly, Christian world or Jewish world, we stop that. We say that, we have been already branded as negative in media and all that. We should not condemn it because it will create a backlash. But this is not our character. Whenever we see ills in the society, we should follow the footstep of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and openly condemn it. Same thing happened, like, such as, I'll give you one example of homosexuality. That is condemned in the Old Testament, Torah, that's condemned in the New Testament, which is Injil, and that's condemned in Quran. So since homosexuality has been accepted in a lot of churches, except I think Catholic Church and all that, so they do not read their own Bible and go out and condemn this. So some Muslims say, we should follow that. If we openly condemn that has been, condemned in Quran as well. So we should be diplomatic and all that. This is not our character. If we see the ills, we should completely reject that. So, and we should also admonish people to do the good things. So racism, all the things that has penetrated the society, our thing is to condemn it. So there are three levels of, fighting the ills of the society or the things like that. One is by the government. And as I said in the previous lectures, those people who have studied the seerah or the biography of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they have divided the lifespan of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam into three stages. One is from his blessed birth to his prophethood, till his birth to the age 40, in which he did not present teachings of Islam to other people, but he showed a model characteristic, and that was so stood out that all the people in Mecca started calling him Sadiq and Amin, means trustworthy and truthful. And that's how he conducted the business, how his manners was the best of that. So he did not. And the second stage is from his age 40 to age 53, in which he declares the prophethood and started condemning the ills of the society and started admonishing to the good things like believing one God, giving charity, be nice to your neighbors, be nice to your family members, and things like that. That is the second stage of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam life. And the third one is in which from the age 53 to age 63, he established Islamic state. And he established justice, a welfare state, and all that. So now, how do we follow footstep of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and how do we follow three stages of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? The first stage, from his holy birth to the declaration of prophethood, in which he showed outstanding characteristic, outstanding charity and all that without. So that is the role of a general people like you and me. We are living in a society. If we just adopt honesty, that even our worst enemies start believing, oh, he's a Muslim, so he cannot be a dishonest person, whether he's doing a job or doing that. This is the first stage of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam life, and it applies to our us, like you and me. Second stage is in which this ayat, ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhuna 'anil munkar. This is the role of ulama. Ulama, they should not be shy away from condemning any ills that they are prevalent in the society. Unfortunately, that has not been the role in today's ulama. They are too diplomatic, too shy, and do not have the moral courage to condemn the ills of the society. So this is our character. If our ulamas do not have that character, we are not following the footstep of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this is the role of ulama. And the third is that of a state, Islamic state, which Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam established as the first Islamic state in Medina, in which he fought with his armies and with his resources to fought off the evil, and internally he established justice between all group of people, Muslims, non-Muslim. So when he established the state of Medina, there were three very powerful tribes that were living in Medina: Banu Kharida, Banu Nazir, and Banu Khariza, Banu Nazir, and Banu Khanaka. So they were giving the full protection of their properties, protection of their lives, protection of their religious freedom. So that's how he established, and he showed the world, like in Islamic state, there are rights for both Muslims and non-Muslims. They have right to property, they have right to equality, they have right to the religious freedom, and that's how he established. So these are the three stages of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam life, and the three role of that applies to the three different group of people: general people, ulamas, and also the state. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that walau amana ahlul kitabi lakana khairul lahum. And if, like, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first described in this ayah that what are the characters of the Muslim, and he described, because of these two characters, you are the best of the nations. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if Ahlul Kitab would have followed the suit and they would have accepted Islam, that would have been good for them, because they had all the signs, they have all the prophecies in their books and by the prophets of a final and last messenger is coming. So, but they did not. They were fasiq because they knew the truth. They recognized Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam just like they would recognize their own sons, but they did not accept Islam. Especially after testifying of the biggest Jewish rabbi of Medina. He was Abdullah bin Salam. Abdullah bin Salam was the biggest Jewish rabbi in Medina, and in the first meeting with Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he saw Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was so much impressed by the physical beauty of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He saw the blessed faces of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the first thing he said, this face could not be that of a liar. So he just saw the Jamal of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and said, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and accept Islam. So logical choice would be, just like today, if Pope accept Islam, so the rest of the Catholics should follow the suit. So Abdullah bin Salam, his status in Medina was like that of a Jewish Pope or something. he was the biggest rabbi. So, but general people, only a fraction of one of the scribe of Nabi Sallallahu, his full name I do not remember, but he was one of the Hafiz. He was a Jewish, and he followed the suit of Abdullah bin Salam and accepted Islam. And he became the scribe and the Hafiz of Quran. There were 25 Hafiz in the time of Nabi Sallallahu, and his first name was Abi bin Kabe, if I'm not mistaken, and he became, a scribe of Nabi Sallallahu and Hafiz, and he converted from Judaism. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in second ayah, lan yudurukum illa azab. So they would not be able to hurt you too much except a little bit. So we sometimes too much scared because we do not have those tools. So especially living in North America, we are too shy that they might get offended, they might do that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that don't be overly concerned with them. They will not be able to hurt you except a little bit, like they might say verbally abuse you or something like that, but they will not be able to do the great harm to them, hard to them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also, if they confronted with war, if you meet them in the war, they will turn their back and run away. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he moved to Medina, he offered the full protection to those 3 tribes. So right in the Medina, there were the 3 tribes I just described: Banu Khariza, Banu Qainqa, and Banu Nazir. So one by one, they waged war on Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they lost, and they had to. But on the outskirts, first one to go was Banu Qainqa, because what happened after the Battle of Badr, they revolted, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ordered them to, exile them from Medina. And then the last one of them was the Banu Qarida. Qarida, what they did, in the 5th year of Hijrah, Abu Sufyan, the leader of Quraysh, he uses his diplomatic skills, and not only he brought the Qurayshi army to fight the Muslims, but he was able to rally all the tribes of Arabia. So that's why this war, the war of Trench, war of Khandaq, is also called Ahzab. So in Quran, this battle has been given the Surah Ahzab, that that means confederate. So because a confederation of all the tribes, they attack, and when they attack Medina, the remaining Jewish tribe of Banu Qarida, that was right in the Medina. So Abu Sufyan, what he said, that we are attacking with all the Arabian tribes. It will be a 12,000 strong army, and Muslims will not stand a chance with them. So why don't you join? So this is something at the last stage. Not only Abu Sufyan was able to rally all the Arabian tribes against Muslims, but they broke the rank because they were the allies of Muslims, Banu Qarida, but they tried to stab the back of Muslims, and right in the heat of the battle, they changed their loyalties, and that was so one by one, all of them, they gave way. And on the north side of Medina, there was also another Jewish stronghold called Qadeer, and that was ruled by a fearsome warrior. His name was Marhab, and he was not only a fighter, he was also their chief and also a poet. So that was held in high esteem. And Nabi Sallallahu, when all these 3 tribes, Jewish tribes, they lost war to Muslims. So what they did, the remnant of all those 3 tribes, they went northward and started living in Qadeer. And Qadeer accepted them with an open arm, and the leader Marhab, that tribe of Qadeer was very rich, and the leader was considered a very fearless and very brave person. And he also able to forge an alliance with another Arab tribe, Banu Qatfan. So Banu Qatfan and this Qadeer, they joined forces, and they were about to attack Medina. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what he did, he marched from Medina and camped between the tribe of Banu Ghatfan and the tribe of Banu Khaybar. So they could not support each other, and then he waged war on Khaybar, and one by one, all these they had 8 strong castles. So one by one, each of the castles fell, but the last remnant was the castle of Qamus, which was led by Marhab himself. And Muslims had difficulty conquering it because it was a very strong castle. Those walls of that castle could not be breached, and it was being led by a very fearless leader named Marhab, who was a Jewish leader. So a day passed, I think, or 2 days passed, and the Qamus castle did not fall. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, end of the day, he announced, tomorrow I will give the banner to a person who loves Allah and his Prophet, and Allah and his Prophet love him, and with his hand, Qamus will be conquered. So every Sahabi spent all the night in anxiety, because who will be that person that Allah loves and his Prophet loves, and he loves Allah and his Prophet, and on his leadership, Qamus will be conquered. So when the morning, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, where is Ali? So Hazrat Ali was summoned, and he had watery eyes because it was a disease that he had it. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, with his blessed saliva, he put his saliva on the eyes of Hazrat Ali, and his watery eyes cured, and he was given the banner. So Hazrat Ali went out and challenged Marhab. So Marhab came out, and he first, it was customary that one poet will challenge another poet in the poetry before the actual fighting happened. So he said some things that I'm a fearless lion, something to that effect. So Hazrat Sayyidina Ali said that I am Haider. Haider means a fearless lion. So I'm a Haider, and my mother named me Haidara. Haidara means a fearless lion. And the fighting pursued, and Hazrat Ali killed Marhab, and that's how the Qamus was cancelled. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing that if you have characteristics of a Muslim, like a lion is not a lion just like us, it has to have a roar, a courage. So Muslims characters at that time, they were few in numbers, but they were feared by the most powerful of the empires, the Romans and Persians, because we had the characteristics of that. Today, because despite our number, we do not have courage to condemn what is bad, and we do not have courage to admonish people to do good things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they will turn their back. ضربت عليهم الذلة أينما ثقفوا إلا بحبل من الله وحبل من الناس. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that a sort of humiliation has been inflicted upon them, or has been attached to them. So wherever they will do. So what is this? Today people are describing the state of Israel, which is a tiny state, but it is considered a military power, and it is considered a technological power, economic power, and with this tiny state, no Muslim, because we do not have that characteristics in which we were few in the numbers. We could challenge the most biggest of the empires with the fewer of numbers. If you want our old glory back, we have to develop the character. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you're the best of the nation. But why you are the best of the nation? You have courage to admonish good and condemn the ills of that. You develop that character and characteristics, and you will find your old glory back. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, describing Jewish, although Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam offered them full protection, full love, and allowed Muslims to marry with the Ahlul Kitab, eat the meat that is slaughtered by Ahlul Kitab. Despite all those favors, they betrayed Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And what the way they did it, that previously they are responsible for a lot of killing of they used to slay the prophets. They are the responsible for killing Yahya alayhi salam. They are responsible for killing, lot of, they try to even kill Isa alayhi salam, and they even poison our own Lord Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The war I'm describing, the Battle of Khaybar, after conquest of Khaybar, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam treated people of Khaybar with generosity. But the chief wife, her name was Zainab. She invited Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for a dinner, and Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went there, but she poisoned Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, neutralized that poison. But in the latter days, after the 10th year of Hijrah, that old effect of that poison came back, and that's how Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away. So that's how they were even responsible for, indirectly, for the demise of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as well, because it was Zainab, a Jewish woman, who poisoned Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is saying that why they are that group of people is cursed, because they used to deny the ayahs of the signs of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and also slew the prophets. And they were in the Europe, and they were living a life of a second-class citizen, an outcast. Only till the rise of bank, they were just like, in our religion, it is considered bad to deal with any money lending or any interest bearing, borrowing or lending. Same was considered in the Christian world. So none of the Christians will do the money lending business. It was reserved for Jewish, because they were outcast. But what happened in the 18th century, when the banking developed, so these low caste money lenders became bankers, and they became very rich. And what happened? They got another boost, these money lending bankers, in 1930s, when a Great Depression hit. So a lot of business could not keep up with their payments, and that's how their properties were seized, their houses were seized. So this group of people, they became super rich. But what happened? In North America, they became super rich. Same thing happened in Europe in the Depression, but Hitler used that as a resentment for Jewish people, and that gave rise to Nazism, and he prosecuted Jews very severely. So that's what it says, that that has been. So what you described, seeing a little bit of glory, a little bit of wealth, it is not just an illusion. It is for the short period of time. So Zalika bima asaw wa kanu yatadun, and because they are the one who are transgressing, and they are the one who has transgressed beyond limits. So worst thing you can do, disobeying prophet is one thing, but killing him is another level. So this is the height of that transgression. Like, we all are guilty of disobeying, I'm not disobeying, sometimes failing to obey the commands of Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but we ask for forgiveness, and this is only because of our human shortcomings. It is our own shortcomings, but our intention is always to follow the footstep of Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But there's another group of people, not only they transgress, but they get to the level of the highest level of transgression, which is to kill a prophet. So, but Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is making it also an exception, that not all the Ahl Kitabs are like that. No. Laysu sawa'un min Ahl Kitabi ummatun qa'imatun. So not all the Ahl Kitab are equal, because there's some good people in them, and they stood up at night and they read the scriptures, and at the night time, and they also prostrate. Just like we have a concept of sajda and prostration, they also have it, and they are among them. So they are Christian and Jewish people. They are running huge charities. They are running the charitable hospitals. They are also running the food banks. So you will see. So Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is distinguishing that some are those people who are at the level that they have even killed a prophet, and another of them is that they are not all of them. they have not accepted Islam, they have not accepted the truth, but they still are kind-hearted people. They fear God and they have the love of God. They also have love of humanity. They doing so. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing, and that's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi had love for Ahl al-Kitab, and he did love Ahl al-Kitab, Jewish and Christians. And when Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, in his time, the first predominantly Christian province of Syria was conquered from Romans. So Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq gave a very strict instructions. When you march into the lands, do not bother any priest, do not bother any clergyman, do not cut any tree unnecessary, do not destroy any buildings or any orchards or any of the farms. So that was the thing, that good behavior of Muslims when they conquered this Christian lands. And so that not only conquered the lands, because as I said, the third period of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in which he established a Muslim state. So he also put out the laws long before the Geneva Convention, all that, how the conquering soldiers should behave when he entered a land that they have conquered, with their utmost, honesty and forgiveness and all that. And he set an example when he conquered Makkah. So Hazrat Umar Farooq, in his time, the second Khalif, that what is Jerusalem. And when Jerusalem was conquered, so the surrendering forces of Jerusalem, they put a condition that your leader or your Khalifa has to come personally, then we will surrender, because they wanted assurances that when we surrender, we will be treated nicely. So Hazrat Umar Farooq came all the way from Medina to Jerusalem to take over the surrender. And after surrender ceremony, he toured this holy city. And when he went to the Christian monastery, the time for, I believe it was Zohar or Asr, it came, and he said that, you have to excuse me. Hazrat Umar Farooq said to the priest that it is time for my prayers, I will have to go and pray. So he said, this is the house of worship, why don't you pray here? So Hazrat Umar Farooq, he was so cautious that he says, I do not want to set a precedent that, if I pray here, the following nations, my followers will try to follow the pursuit and try to claim, they might claim it as a masjid rather than a church. So he refused to pray in a church. So that's how cautious he was in terms of rights of, Zammis, or the people who are the protected under the Islamic State. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is further describing, yu'minuna billahi wal yawmil akhir, ya'muruna bil ma'ruf wa yanhuna 'anil munkar. So these are the people who have the characteristics of a Muslim, means they condemn what is bad and they also admonish their people to do the good things. And yasari'una fil khairat, they really rush to the goodness. If they invited them to do something good, and ulaika minas salihin, and they are the righteous people. And you see that what has politically happened recently in Gaza and all that, who are the forefront? It was the mostly Jewish people who came out and condemned their own state. And they say that what's happening, the human rights abuses that are happening are wrong and should be condemned. And unlike us who are shy away from condemning and doing the marches, they came out in the New York City and on the busiest of street, and they openly, chanted their slogans and condemned what was wrong. And now Allah says, "Innal lazina kafaru lan tughni anhum amwaluhum wala auladuhum min Allah." So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing those people who have a lot of money in this world and also a lot of children, that will not benefit them in the day after. So those people who transgress, they will live in the hellfire forever. Now I would like to point out that we are reading the Tafseer-e-Siddiqui. So Maulana Abdul Qadir Siddiqui Saheb, he is describing different opinions about those people who end up in Jahannam, those kafirs and all that. So he's describing those people who end up in Jahannam, would they live in Jahannam forever? So my Murshid, Musa Pasha, he used to describe, yes, those people who end up in Jahannam, they will live in the hellfire forever. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with his infinite mercy, will turn their azab into their punishment into azab al-naim, the good punishment. Because these are the people who are Jahannamis and they would not fit into Jannat anyway. So they will, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will diminish some of their azab and will ease some of their azab and will convert them into good azab. So this is the explanation of this ayat. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in next ayat is similitude of those people who spend money in this world is like a wind blowing, and it has reached, the cold wind has reached somebody's orchard, and it has destroyed that thing there. So the lavish spending we do, unless it is for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will not benefit us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu la tattakhuzu bitanatin min dinikum. So you people of faith, you do not make ultimate, you do not tell that secrets, your secrets to your enemy, because these are the people, they will not hesitate to hurt you. And some of those people, like you see some of the people who have animosity toward Muslims or us, sometimes it comes to their mouth, their lips are not silent, they will utter something, they will see it. But what they have in heart is much greater, because they try to hide it, but sometimes their body language or sometimes even verbally they utter what they want to say. So this why, but as I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is describing, some of them, they are good people, but some of them, you will see it, you will deal with that. We are living in a society, so some of those people, their body language and their language tells them what. So now another thing that we are that is describing that we are the people, you are the people who love them, and we should be loved, but love not in the sense that you start following their footsteps. Loving as a kindness is a good thing. To the fairness is a good thing. We are living in a society, we have to be a role model to the other people. But do not love them as though you are following them, because they will never love you. If you try to be like them, if you like to be diplomatic to them and do not tell the truth. So we are just following the way they dress, way they think, way they have set up their moral standards. That doesn't apply to us. So do not try to imitate them in that sense, because they will not love. And if something bad happens to them, some of them are so cruel that they rejoice, like something bad happens to them. And if something good happens to us, they are not happy at it. And something calamity hit us, they rejoice it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will one day, we will all have to return. And Allah is Muhit. Allah is the all, encompasses all of us. And one day we will come back to that. So this is a brief discussion. So I will stop here, and if there's any questions, I will welcome that.